Kotlin DSLs. A domain-specific language is a small language designed for a specific task. Kotlin makes it easy to create DSLs using Lambdas with receivers. You already use DSLs every day in Gradle build scripts, for routing, and Jetpack Compose. Let's learn how to build your own. A Lambda with receiver is the foundation of every Kotlin DSL. The type is written as receiver type, arrow return type. Inside the Lambda, you can call the receiver's methods directly without a prefix. This is what makes DSLs feel like a special language instead of regular function calls. Look at this build greeting function. It takes a Lambda with string builder as the receiver. Inside the Lambda, you call append directly because this refers to the string builder. Compare this to a regular Lambda where you must prefix every call with the parameter name. The receiver version is much cleaner. The simplest DSL is a configuration builder. Create a class with mutable properties and a builder function that takes a Lambda with receiver. The user sets properties directly inside the Lambda block. Anything not set keeps its default value. This reads almost like a configuration file with no boilerplate. For complex configurations, you can nest builders inside each other. The app-config class has server, database, and logging functions. Each function creates a new config object and applies the Lambda to it. The usage looks hierarchical and clean. Each nested block creates its own scope with its own properties. There is a problem with nested DSLs. The inner Lambda can accidentally access members of the outer receiver. For example, inside a body block you could call head, which belongs to the HTML receiver. The DSL marker annotation fixes this. It restricts access to only the current receiver's members. Here is a type-safe HTML builder. The HTML class has head and body functions. The body class has h1, p, ul, and the functions. The ulist class has li. Each class is annotated with HTML DSL marker. You can only call li inside ul and title inside head. The compiler catches mistakes at compile time. Using the HTML DSL looks like writing actual HTML, but in Kotlin. You call HTML, then head with a title, then body with h1, paragraph, and an unordered list with list items. The render method outputs proper HTML. This is one of the classic examples of Kotlin DSL power. A routing DSL similar to core defines get, post, put, and delete functions. The group function adds a prefix to all routes inside it. You define routes in a clean, declarative way. This is how real web frameworks organize their routing. The DSL makes the route structure visible at a glance. A SQL-like query builder DSL lets you write queries in a natural style. You call select with column names, from with the table name, or with conditions, order by, and limit. Multiple where calls are joined with end. The build method generates the actual SQL string from the collected parameters. A Gradle-style dependency DSL uses nested builders for plugins and dependencies. The project function is the entry point. Inside you set group and version, then use plugins and dependencies blocks. This looks almost exactly like a real build.gradle.kts file because Gradle uses the same techniques. Many popular frameworks use Kotlin DSLs. Gradle Kotlin DSL for build scripts, Tor for routing, Jetpack Compose for UI, and Exposed for SQL queries. They all use the same technique. Lambdas with receiver, DSL marker annotation, and type-safe builders. Once you learn the pattern, you see it everywhere. To design a good DSL, follow these steps. First, define the domain model with its objects and properties. Second, create builder classes, one for each scope. Third, add a top-level entry function. Fourth, use DSL marker to prevent scope leaking. Fifth, provide sensible defaults. Sixth, keep it readable. The basic DSL pattern is simple. Create a class with properties, write a top-level function that creates an instance and applies the Lambda, then return the configured object. You can use the apply standard function to make this even shorter. This three-step pattern works for any configuration DSL. A common mistake is not using DSL marker. Without it, inner lambdas can access outer receivers, leading to confusing bugs. Another mistake is making DSLs too complex with too many nesting levels. Keep the nesting shallow, 2 or 3 levels maximum. Deep nesting is hard to read and maintain. Not providing default values is another common mistake. If the user must set every single property, the DSL becomes verbose and annoying. Provide sensible defaults for everything. Let the user override only what they need. A minimal configuration should work with just 1 or 2 property assignments. Let's build a test framework DSL as a practical example. The describe function creates a test suite. Inside it, the it function defines individual test cases. The expect function sets up assertions. This reads like natural English. Describe calculator. It adds 2 numbers, expect result to equal 5. Kotlin DSLs combine several language features together. Lambdas with receiver provide clean syntax. Extension functions add methods to existing types. Infix functions make calls read like English. Operator overloading lets you use plus and minus. Together, these features create expressive, type-safe APIs. Let's summarize what we covered. Lambda with receiver gives access to receiver members directly. DSL marker prevents scope leaking in nested DSLs. The builder pattern creates, configures, and returns objects. Apply is the standard function for building objects. Nested builders create child scopes. Type-safe builders enforce valid structure at compile time. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more tutorials.